You're listening to the Valley Labor Report with David Story and Jacob Morrison.
To the workers, this is the Valley Labor Report. My name is Jacob Morrison, here with my co-host Adam Keller. We are joined by Hadi, Lee, and Sarah from the Graduate Student Organizing Committee of the UAW Local 2110, representing grad workers at New York University, talking about grad worker organizing. They mentioned about the NLRB decision in 2001 that prohibited graduate workers from collective bargaining officially. Obviously you can't stop organizing. You can't stop people from coming together and fighting for better wages and working conditions at all, but you can deny them sanctioned routes to collective bargaining, and that's what the NLRB did in 2001. That decision was overturned in 2015, and now they got their first contract, they said, in 2015, and they just renegotiated their first. And the one of the things that I'm interested in, and that seems to me very difficult in graduate worker organizing, as in other transient workforce organizing, is the transient nature of the workforce. How do you keep the membership engaged and present, and when the membership turns over every year, every 2 years? You don't have the same people like at other UAW locals. For example, one's in the one in Spring Hill, Tennessee, where they're a manufacturing plant. When we went up there to walk the picket line with them back in 2018, we talked to people that had been there for 20, 30, 40 years. Y'all don't have that. It's impossible for you to have that. So how do you keep it going?
I can share a little bit of insight, and then, of course, Lee and Sarah, if you want to jump in. I've been thinking a lot about this. I was on the bargaining committee for this last contract, and I was thinking about, some of the kind of tremendous wins that we had. And it's true. It's like it is a really transient kind of group of unit members. And one of the things that I've realized is that this history that Lee just talked about, right? Like, that's our legacy. And the people who organized back in 1998, and then in 2001, and then in 2000, and then they went on strike in 2006, 5 and 6, and then in 2015 as well. We really are still very much connected to the people who fought those fights and to the organizers. So today, when I think about what has positioned us really strongly to have won this incredible contract, it was really these incredible organizers who went before us, who were really kind of intrepid and brave, and really went out and said, we will do what it takes to get us what we deserve, to get workers what they deserve. And just having that history is so meaningful, and I think it's one of the things that made our fight in the past year really empowered us in so many ways, because we had people who were able to give us a lot of who were able to explicitly consult with us on what we should be doing, but also I think history is such a powerful thing, to know what has been accomplished and what hasn't been accomplished, and also an understanding of how NYU as an institution operates was something that we had learned, and how that had shifted over time. So I think it's really important to kind of build intergenerational solidarity within these unions, and to make sure that even when when the three of us leave NYU, we leave behind something for future organizers to build from and build with, and that we stay connected to them. I think that's a huge part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and how do you...
I think if I could add something really quickly, and I hope that I think one thing that I valued about NYU, I actually chose NYU as a graduate school for my PhD because graduate workers were unionized. I knew I would be protected as a graduate worker here than I would have been as a worker elsewhere. One thing that GSOC has taken from a liability to an asset has used the transientness of our workforce as a way of ensuring there's consistently a kind of radicalness and agitation coming to the bargaining table. So, for example, between the fall and spring semesters of this past year, fall 2020 and spring 2021, the entire bargaining committee turned over. And what that meant is that the people who were fighting could say like they had that fresh energy, had that fresh perspective. And I think one of the reasons we were able to make such radical demands, really, starting at a starting wage of $46 an hour, tops off campus, making NYU a sanctuary campus, healthcare for everybody, that was possible because we had kind of fresh faces at the bargaining table and also in the rank and file. And it took a lot of work, certainly, to get everybody excited and to ensure everyone knew their rights as a union worker and what the union could offer. But the fresh faces in that way were more of an asset than they were a liability because everybody was really excited for what they could win.
It sounds like that even though the transient nature, that's a real thing that y'all have to deal with. It sounds like even though, y'all aren't going to be members of this union 10 years from now, y'all are still going to, y'all are going to be available for, or y'all will have, while you're here, pass down your knowledge and built up people to replace you, but also even down the line, people will be able to come to you, and y'all have been able to have that resource as well. So even though there's like a transient nature, there's still a wealth of knowledge from the people that organized back in '98 that you can pull from, even though they're not officially members of the union anymore.
In a big way, yes, absolutely. Like to this day, we've been talking to people who have organized with us and with NYU in the past, and so that's absolutely right.
And some of them even came to the picket line, right? I think that was really fun on the picket line. There was someone who I knew. I think I've been at NYU the longest of us. 7 years is really like the longest you can be in our union because after 7 years, you move actually into the adjunct union. So part of it also is that we have, these different. We're connected to other unions, right? It's not just 2110 isolated and alone, right? We have, the Adjunct Employees Union, who's at NYU. We have the UCATs, which is the library and clerical workers, who honestly have been holding it down for who knows how many years, right? And so to have people who were on the bargaining committee in 2015 come to our strike, or to have people who were involved in the fight in the early 2000s or the late 90s come down to the picket line and say, I'm so proud that this is still the legacy, and to know that even when I leave NYU, I will be there, when the next contract fight comes around. And I think that that's part of what's really valuable. And it's also really advantageous that, New York is a union town, as we say, right? So we have such a strong network to build on, and such a wealth of knowledge, both from our own lineage and from other unions and union fights in the city. And we're passing it forward. A bunch of journalists are likely to go on strike, and we've been, picketing with them.
Yes, and we sent an invitation to the New Yorker Union to talk about. They're going to be releasing a strike, either a strike issue or a labor peace issue on their own, and that is, this is such a good time to be a union person. I think I'm really excited to see what they do, and looking forward to hearing more from y'all on the other side of this break, folks. Make sure that you stay tuned. We are talking to Erin, Hadi, Sarah, and Lee from the New York University Graduate Student Organizing Committee, UAW Local 2110. And on the other side of this break, we're going to be talking to them about what the university was trying to get them to accept, why they didn't accept it, and the strike. and then winning it. So, folks, we'll be right back. Make sure you don't turn the dial. Stay tuned.
Try to act it up. You call the principal, J-Rig, act it up. You call the boys, try to act it up. You call the principal, J-Rig, act it up. You call the fire.
Labor creates all wealth. All wealth should go to labor. Good morning. This is the Valley Labor Report. My name is Jacob Morrison, here with my co-host Adam Keller. We are joined by Arundhati, Lee, and Sarah from the Graduate Student Organizing Committee of the UAW Local 2110. We're talking about graduate student organizing and what they've been going through this morning.
Yeah, and this is Adam. I just wanted to thank y'all for a point you made on the other side of the break. It is so critical that activists and organizers in the labor movement pass their knowledge down. I feel like you should approach the work always looking for your replacement, basically. And y'all don't have a choice. Just by nature of your work site and the nature of your union, you sort of have to do that to be successful. But I think it's something that all of us in the movement can take away because it's very easy to try to be Superman, Superwoman, try to do it all yourself, or to get comfortable in positions. So I really love that. That's a great takeaway, even before getting into the nuts and bolts of your strike actions, which were very successful. Thank you for that lesson.
If you want to see what we're up to throughout the week and get our snide quips about the news of the day, then you should follow us on social media. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/The Valley Labor Report. We're on Twitter at Labor Reporters. I'm on Twitter at JacobM_AL. If you missed part of the show and want to go back and watch it later, you can search YouTube for The Valley Labor Report and subscribe to our channel. You can go back and watch the full show there, and we also clip segments and release them throughout the week. We upload the program on more than 11 different podcasting apps. So to see if we are on your listening platform of choice, you can go to thevalleylaborreport.transistor.fm/subscribe. We've got a website where you can buy our fantastic union-made hats and union-made stickers. You can go to thevalleylaborreport.org and get those. And finally, if you appreciate our work and want to help us stay on the air, then consider throwing us a couple dollars a month on patreon.com/thevalleylaborreport.